Hello to my Taurus. All right, let's get into your reading. The moon is in Scorpio. Moon is in Scorpio. We are still in the full moon phase. Let's get into it. I welcome today with open arms. Arms wide open. All right, let's get into it. Let's pull a number, an angel number. Let's see. Pull an angel number. I'm going to just dive right into your reading. 673, fifth dimensional thinking. It's time to level up. Your angels want you to level up your thinking to fifth dimension. You are stuck in mundane struggles and material world values. Reframe your thoughts, keeping the big picture in view. Connect to your purpose and the valuable lessons you are learning at this very moment. Draw another card with the intention of guidance as to your next steps. Somebody is holding on to something, and source needs you to close something out, and just like your word, the way of your thinking and the way you're speaking, something from the past. Somebody is holding on to some way of thinking about something. Let's see what other number we can draw from this. 251, listen. Be open to hearing good advice. So when you hear good advice, you'll hear it more than once and you'll hear from multiple sources. So right now, be alert. Your angels are giving you a message, channeling it through the people and places around you. Listen carefully today to all patterns and signs as they are messages, as it's up to you to find the common link. There is good advice to be uncovered. So when the moon is in Scorpio, we're not talking about any Scorpios that you know. Scorpio is a death rebirth card, right? So ideally when cycles end, that could be a job end, friendship end, whatever end. You all remember you wrote second house. Second house is all about personal resources, money, habits, possessions, values, financial security, self-worth, income. So when things end, you have an opportunity to speak something else into existence. I mean, when you hold on, what's coming to mind is like the person that was, given gifts and talents, and that one energy that buried their gifts and talents and expected something to grow. They didn't plant anything else to grow any more of their gifts and talents. They're just holding on to it, just like holding on to that one thing, like holding on to it for dear life, and there was no growth there. So they didn't see any growth from just anything. They was holding on to it so tight. Like sometimes you can hold on to your kids so tight, you don't see any growth there, and you wonder why there's no growth. No, there's no growth in the legacy. There's no growth in the anything. Just hold on so tight to something. Hold on so tight to a dollar bill till you see the eagle grin, right? You hold on so tight to everything that there's no growth anywhere else, and so Source is trying to help somebody to be a good steward of what you have, but when the cycle is over, release it in love. Release something in love. So release something in love, and don't let the ego edging God out, as I heard a spiritual leader recently say, which I thought was so cool online. He gives a lot of really, really good advice. Never met this person, but they always give some really, really good advice online. But anyway, let's get into your reading. Yeah, something is bringing you to a new level of emotional maturity. This is the King of Cups, emotional maturity. Yeah, and trying to help you to wake up from some past nightmares. Because there's two sides of the sword. Two sides of the sword. Right, two sides of the sword. Once things end, for you, it could be a nightmare, but there's another side of the sword, in terms of emotion, something could have been a nightmare for someone else. Like, when we think about water, we talk about pouring something into something. You could poured everything into something, but guess what? Somebody else poured everything they had into something too. And when you look at it from both sides of the sword, right? There's two sides of the sword. But if you only consider your side of the sword as a fixed sign, then you'll never get a chance to see, just the beauty in, like, okay, let me cherish that moment in time. And that's what Source is trying to help people to see, is that cherishing a moment in time. I poured everything into it. Doesn't matter what it seemed like for other people, but would I need to heal. I need to use this water and pour and cleanse off my wounds, right? I'm not a fool. I'm just leaving distractions behind. I'm leaving all distractions behind. Somebody didn't make me look like a fool. I wasn't played for a fool. You don't even have to own that. You don't even have to look at it like somebody played me for a fool. But somebody else could have felt like they were played for a fool too. Especially because there's two sides of it. If a person has to hear that they are being lowered to make another person feels good, that doesn't feel like somebody, because when we're talking about making a connection, that's what sword energy is heart chakra. That's the heart chakra right here. But this is at the crown chakra. This is crown chakra. If another person doesn't feel like their crown was adjusted in a relationship, because remember Venus is now, if you're watching this video on the 13th, I believe it's the last day that Venus is retrograde. Venus, remember, planets don't move backwards and they don't move at a slower pace, right? So usually when Venus is retrograde, people you hear a lot of videos about love. Oh, somebody's about to attract new love in their lives and all of these things. But you don't want to attract the enemy. So let's break this down. Your sign rules second house. Second house is about personal resources, money, habits, possessions, values, financial security, self-worth, income. But Venus also rules Libra. We're not talking about any other Taurus, any other Libra. We're just talking about your sign rules these houses. Libra, seventh house. Libra rules seventh house. Seventh house is about marriage, relationships, partnerships, business contracts, inner desires, enemies, right? You don't want to be an enemy to yourself. You don't want to be an enemy to yourself. By not learning other people's love language. This right here, love language. So I mentioned in the previous video about auric layers. Auric layers. Cups is water. Water speaks to a physical realm, right? That's a lower chakra. That's just going based on feelings, right? But your heart chakra is the middle auric layer connected to your heart chakra. It serves as a gateway to your upper chakras and divine energies, right? So water connects us with what gives you joy. It connects us to emotions, right? Emotional body, right? Resides 2 to 3 inches off of the body. Unprocessed feelings from the past. This layer shifts as your mood shifts. Your emotions, including like I said, unprocessed emotions, from the past. And we're talking about sacral chakra. You're talking about what gives you joy, creativity, adaptability, sensuality, fertility, emotional range, sexuality, all those things, feelings, right? So if you're around somebody who you as an earth sign, and you're just going based off a feeling that you have about something, right, without having a discussion around heart chakra, how a person loves, especially since you all are ruled by Venus, the goddess of love, pleasure, art, music, aesthetics, right? That's the conversation that you want to have at every level. Those are conversations that you want to have at every level, like what people's feelings are around sexuality, what their feelings are around everything, what their feelings are around, like what your feelings are around everything, so that they don't, because it's two sides of the sword, so that they don't walk away feeling like you made them look like a fool, or you walk away feeling like they made you look like a fool, right? We're talking about fifth dimensional thinking, right? So I welcome today with open arms. Welcome today with open arms. So you can free yourself from anything that you feel like somebody is being shady towards you, or them feeling like you being shady towards them. Limited spiritual thinking. This is Page of Wands here. Yeah. Talk about feelings. What are your feelings about what's triggering for people? What's triggering for people? Some things will take people back to like their childhood. Some things will trigger a nightmare for some people. If people have limited spiritual beliefs, let's say, for instance, somebody says, since we're talking about tarot, let's say somebody says they had a really, really horrible experience with, like, yeah, but they had a, like dreams about, like they don't believe in, they have limited spiritual beliefs about, or feelings about around tarot. They heard it was evil, it was demonic, it was, those people are devil worshippers, whatever the case may be. That may be a conversation to have. It may be a conversation to have. Or let's say, for instance, you're telling somebody, there are people in your family who are in practicing dark magic, witchcraft, or whatever. Their belief, they could be thinking, you could be mashing light work with dark practices together, right? But that's a conversation, what your feelings are on it, and to gain clarity on some things, right? Right. Some people think that people who are meek are weak. Some people are meek as a lamb, and people assume that they're weak. But they could be some of your biggest prayer warriors. So here we have the Nine of Pentacles here. Because again, we're still talking about spirituality. We're talking about spirituality. And somebody who is from a child, here we have Page of Wands here, who has a real, like, craving or desire to know who God is, for real, like who God is, who have been studying who God, they may not have the degrees, but they, for a reason, want to know why nightmare after nightmare after nightmare, why, who is God, like what, why, just the question why, right? Right. This financial independence, people think that's in a physical sense, right? But money is a form of energy. So it's the same for them. That may be just their independence. It's like, okay, that's who that may give them their freedom of just saying, okay, to wake up from nightmares is okay. They crave, that's who they crave, it's source. It's just source. So they need to be in receiving mode. They need to be somewhere near water to draw from the living water, like from within. That's who they need. They need to be by water, listening to water, drinking water, to process, to cleanse off these wounds. And so when they're around people who are being shady towards them, when they just need to be near water to cleanse off the wounds, that's what Source is saying that you may have in common with energies, right? That's what you may have in common with energies, but you may be looking at it from a, who knows how you're looking at it. But again, listening, welcoming today with open arms and not seeing things as demonic. Now that something is ending and you're going to the rebirth side, of things. A lot of your wishes are being fulfilled. Where's the other? Okay. A lot of your wishes are being fulfilled. Rebirth side, someone's either coming out of hermit mode or going into hermit mode. But something is closing out. And somebody is now going into prayer and meditation, which goes hand in hand, prayer and meditation. Somebody's investing a lot of time in multiple streams of income. Multiple streams of income. There's the Eight of Swords here. These restrictions are not tight. They're not tight at all. It gives the appearance that something is tight, but the nightmare is ending. The nightmare is ending. Nightmare is ending. Yeah. So somebody is learning how to rise above the judgment of feeling judged, learning how to rise above it of when people are in hermit mode. So you may be going in, I don't know if you're going into hermit mode or coming out of hermit mode, but you're definitely going through a rebirth. Right. Rising above the judgment of people being demonized for just, being restricted in some way. So some good news is coming through. Some good news is coming through. Yeah. So I'm seeing some kind of victory here. Somebody is free. To move on from some kind of deep disappointment or heartbreak. Yeah, and be more conservative with their time. Be more conservative with their time. And create something new. So this could be a younger person. This could be a younger person that you know. But something is over. And so you have some idea. You have a lot of ideas moving forward. You have a lot of ideas moving forward. You have a lot of ideas moving forward. But you have also an innate spiritual understanding of some things now as well. Of just kind of sort of the material world. Yeah. Of the material world, of how people feel when they are apart. And just kind of trying to have a healthy work-life balance. That's the Justice card, what throws people's peace off balance. So here we have the Six of Pentacles here. So I see money coming your way from, I see money coming across your path from somebody. And I see you back in the saddle again. Yep. And so at this point, somebody feels like, know that Source has your back, right? Source has your back. All right. Have faith in your dreams. Somebody gets downloads through their dreams. So you may want to start journaling your dreams. You want to start journaling your dreams. Letting go. Everything indeed is out of control and God will hold it all. I can safely let go. So somebody be spending some alone time, possibly near a body of water. There's water again. Spending a lot of time near water. just kind of thinking about maybe sacrifices, you know, sacrifices that you made, maybe ancestors made, just thinking about sacrifices. But that is what I have for you. Hopefully this is helpful, you know, in your reading. Looks like there's just been a lot of confusion looking at the cards here. Heart path. It's not worth pursuing a path without passion. This road will only lead you to uncertainty and frustration, but follow your heart. You can't go wrong. Follow your heart. You can't go wrong. That is what I have for you. Hopefully this is helpful. See you in the next video. Bye.